What's up, Guardians? Profane here, and thank you for checking out the video. Grandmasters are back, and with the first entry into this season's lineup, we get the Glassway. And today we'll be breaking down this Grandmaster Nightfall to make it as easy as possible for you to complete this on your own, whether you're hitting up an LFG team to get it done, or trying to do it solo. This week will be a great week to hit up any level of the Glassway, because double loot is active, and when that comes to Grandmaster, this means double adept loot. This week's featured weapon is the Scintillation Strand Linear Fusion Rifle, a great fusion rifle that's optimized for boss damage with trait combinations like Envious Assassin and Firing Line. The Glassway will put you up against Fallen and Vex forces. You will see Overload Captains, Overload Minotaur, Barrier Servitors, Barrier Hobgoblins, Wyvern, and Hydra. And those enemies will be dealing bonus void damage against you, so having void resistance on your chest will be crucial. And this week you'll have a bonus in solar and void damage, and grenade launchers will get overcharged. The Grandmaster level of Glassway is a 2020 activity, but we were able to get through pretty easily at 2005. Even still, it'll be necessary to have tier 10 resilience, if at all possible, and as many sources of health recovery and damage resistance as possible. This would be provided through Frost Armor, Woven Mail, Devour, or Restoration. Prismatic builds have the ability to run several of these buffs simultaneously, so you might find it more beneficial to use a Prismatic build this week. We found it to be the most beneficial to have at least one Warlock running a support build. With the combination of Speaker's Sight and Ember of Benevolence, you'll have an endless supply of healing turrets, which will greatly improve the survivability of everyone. And this will free up other players to run builds that have heavy burst damage, like a Golden Gun Hunter or a Titan with Consecration Slams. And if I don't say it, someone else will. A Golden Gun Hunter using Celestial Nighthawk with the Still Hunt Exotic Sniper would definitely be able to make quick work out of any of the champions in this one. Throughout this strike, there's a lot of situations where you'll be able to funnel your enemies into a straight line. So this will make suspensions an invaluable benefit whenever paired up with weapons like the Wither Horde or Dragon's Breath. As far as weapon loadouts go, you'll need to be ready for Overload and Barrier, and it'll be in your best interest to have everyone on the team equipped with a way to stun these champions. Luminarch, Thorn, Luna's Howl, and Suppressor Grenades are what my team used to stun those overloads. And for the barriers, we used Radiance, along with Pulse Rifles, like the BXR Battler. And with that Radiance, we were able to give weapons like the Commemoration, the Call, and the Dragon's Breath the ability to pierce barrier shields. As you start this Nightfall, you'll engage with the Fallen over the course of several sections. Each of these areas have a slew of rocks, barriers, and other constructs that you'll be able to use as cover, and you'll definitely want to stick to those in these earlier areas where there's an abundance of snipers and floor traps. You want to focus on the barrier servitors as quickly as possible so that they don't have an opportunity to shield other enemies. Once you get to the point that you have to drain the Radiolarian fluid, you'll have to stand on the plate until it reaches 100%, but you don't have to stay on the plate. What you'll want to do is complete it in phases. Secure the point up to 30% and then retreat back. Defeat all the shanks and snipers and then get back to it. Rinse and repeat this process a few times over and you'll be done without losing any lives. If you have someone running the Wither Horde or the Dragon's Breath, a well-placed projectile could really help out against those snipers up on the wall. The next section will bring out more fallen enemies, and you'll need to take this arena one section at a time. If you push too far too quick, you'll draw out too many fallen to be able to handle it once. And now it's time for the dreaded boss fight, and this is a multi-stage fight that puts you up against a big Hydra boss and a baby mini-boss. There are several waves of enemies that will spawn in as you weaken these bosses, and it will go in a rotation order that starts with a wave of enemies that includes Overload Minotaur, followed by a wave of Barrier Hobgoblins and Wyvern. After that, it'll be back to Minotaur with the third wave, and then finishing off with a wave of Wyvern and Hobgoblins. The champions won't all spawn in at the same time either. Each wave of enemies will send out its champions in batches, so just keep this in mind and be prepared in case one of them sneak up behind you. The best way to take on this boss fight is to hunker down in the left side room. You can make use of each of the 3 doorways to lure enemies in, get them all funneled together, and then smash them with those super high-powered weapons, abilities, and supers. If you need to split the boss up from those champions, you can easily do so from this room. So by having one guardian lure the boss to the far side, the other 2 players would be able to handle the champions on the other side. And this might be something that you end up having to do, because those barrier champions do like to cling onto the boss sometimes, and they can definitely elongate the process. But if you can split them up, it'll be much easier. Whatever you do, you don't want to develop lead feet when you're staying in this room. Enemies can sneak up on you at any time, so you'll need to be ready to dip and dodge out of there if need be. In the past, there have been different hidey holes that you could dip into, and from what I'm aware, the one in this left corridor still works. So if you really need to send someone up there to hide while everyone else does all the work, well, that's still technically an option. Even with a slow, cautious approach to this Grandmaster, it only took just over 20 minutes to complete. So given the opportunity of speedrunning this Grandmaster, you could probably get it down to 10 to 12 minutes. With double loot and a wicked new ADEPT fusion rifle up for grabs, it's going to be a great week to jump into the Glassway, and hopefully this video has provided you with some help towards your success. I wish you all the best of luck out there. Thank you as always for checking out the video. If you enjoyed and found it helpful, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated, and both really do help support the channel. If you're a new Light Guardian, just starting your journey, or a battle-hardened veteran, just looking for a new home, then be sure to check out the Discord link in the description below and join one of the greatest communities in all of Destiny. If you're in need of help getting a good build together to go through this week's Grandmaster, then be sure to check out the Mobalytics link that's down in the description. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.